Oh, no, no, you can just wait. It'll come on. Perfect. And then the last, see the audio meter's going, so sound is working great. Yep, and then you mute. And then it's all done. Yeah. Hi. Did you find it? Yay! Did it come yet? I love that. Yay! Good. Hi. Good to see you here. All these West Philly friends who are crossing the bridge. Do you live? You don't live around here. Oh, I love that. Thanks for coming. Last time I saw you at the quilt show, injury? Something had happened? Did I make that up? Yeah, okay, okay. You feeling better? Good. Great. Easy. Was at home. Didn't do anything. And just, I kind of like being here during the holidays and teaching because otherwise I'd just be sitting at home. Because my parents live, one lives in India, one lives in Florida, and we do like other times of year to meet each other. And so it was just great to like, vegetable, yes, literally do nothing. Yeah, I'm so happy you're here. Yay! Oh, thank you. Thanks for bringing it. It's her daughter from like 20 years ago. No, it's really cute. Who's that? Yeah, she gave it to me. I taught this series in May last year. She brought it in then too, and I just like had him in the front. It's really cute. Nope, all old. Hi, how are you? Good. I'm good. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But there's so many other songs. Yeah, perfect. Great. Perfect setting. Yeah, easy. Absolutely. Great. That's perfect. Yeah. And then the other good thing too is starting with your sequence that you taught them, and also after classes, if there's parts of the sequence that you like, you can go home. That's what I used to do for years when I assisted. Is any class that you take or that you like, you can take a section and see what it feels like to teach it in your own words. And then also you walking around today will be great because you can start to even practice teaching it in your own voice while you're teaching. So we'll start to get you more and more comfortable. And Abby's here, Trisha's here, Kayla's here, Lauren's here. But today, see if you can really get into foundation. Yeah. And then, the point is to just be doing it. So we're going to do first bits at the wall. And then we'll start in a couple minutes. We're waiting on a few folks, but all the props we'll use: 2 blocks, blanket, strap, and then there's therapy balls over here. We'll take some time to roll towards the middle and dish Hi, good to see you. Were there people downstairs? I know, but there were people down there. Okay, we'll give it another minute or so. 1, 2, 3. You're fine there. Yeah, we are. There's so much room for everyone to fit. We are, in theory, waiting on 4 more folks to come. So my suggestion is always, if you see a drop of space closer to you on the right or left, you might just come an inch closer to your friend so that as folks come through the cold, they can really just slip slide right in really easily. Ghosts. Thank you. Okay. We'll get started. We'll see and fiddle around with this in a second. Hi, welcome. For those of us that are new to each other, I said this in yesterday's class, I say it in most, but anytime you're new to class or to the studio, you get a very sweet little blue star next to your name, and there's a few new blue stars today in class, so if we didn't get a chance to say hi, my name is Anisha. Thank you for coming. And each week we're so lucky to have Marcy with us assisting. So the way that it'll look is I'll be practicing from the mat so you guys and folks at home can have a visual. And Marcy will be walking around. If you have any yoga-related questions at all, please feel free to ask her, call her over. It's really a gift to have 2 teachers in the room. And so use her to your advantage. And assists-wise, she'll offer some assists, and none of those are, she'll always tell you what she's doing before. None of those are contorting you out of your range of motion. It's just usually inviting some more breath, some more space. And you can always tell her, like, go away from me. Please do not touch me. No, thank you. There's no harm, no foul. We take no offense to it, but just let us know. That's the Marcy spiel. It was a tongue twister. And very sweetly, she brought in our little visual for today. So for the whole month of January, some of us were together last week, some of us are new to each other, but for the whole month of January, I've deemed it the month of Hanumanasana, the month of full splits, and I'll tell you why. We're going to work versions of Hanumanasana at the wall today, but this is what he looks like. There's no deity of him at the studio. I have one at home, and Marcy has this from her daughter from 25 years ago. Well, we can round up. Okay. Yeah, 20 years ago, which means he's just been around for much longer than 20 years, and he will still continue to be around. But Hanuman, the pose that this is, the god that this pose is named after, he's one of the great, he might not sit up on his own. He's one of the great lords of yoga that has a whole series of phenomenal mythological tales that he's associated with. And the reason why I love sharing these stories this time of year is because, yes, we come to practice this physical practice of yoga with our breath, but almost 99.9% of the poses that we do have even greater significance and meaning and stories that make them become even greater than life imaginable. So this story of Hanuman today, I'll tell it to you when we're in it, but he's essentially flying in full splits in order to save the kidnapped princess. And while he's trying to save her, his tail catches on fire and it ignites parts of the regions that he's in until he can make it back to safety. But the beauty of Hanuman is he's always, he's the god with the face of a monkey, the body of a human, and a very, very, very long tail that helps him leap from place to place. And he's most infamous or known for his great quality of devotion. The one that he worships and loves and cares for the most is the great Lord Ram, one of the great princes who gets banished. And I read the other day where somebody asked the question, why, if he's so powerful, if Hanuman is a god, if he has this ability to leap, why doesn't he just ditch everyone he's with and, take over the world, for lack of a better meaning? He can go from universe to universe. And the analysis of the story was essentially, he was born in a time, in an era in the yogic tradition of great tragedy. He was born in a time where things were chaotic, the world as we know it wasn't the way that we know it, and there was something intrinsically within him that called upon him to work for the greater good. He had this moral compass that guided him towards saying, I'm not going to just leap from continent to continent and ditch everyone who I know. I have to bring everyone with me. There's something inherently that's guiding me towards creating more order, more safety, more stability, and more beauty for the world that I see. So I have chapters and chapters more to tell you as we start to practice, but I'll tell you the story when we're in the pose so I can softly distract you from the fact that we're in full splits. But there's so many options, so many variations. Take breaks, sip water, pace yourself, because we got lifetimes and lifetimes to practice this. So let's start together in a comfortable seat whenever you're ready, however that looks. You are more than welcome to start lying on your back. You might sit cross-legged, you might be seated on your knees. If you are seated, you might be up on props with blocks or blankets under your hips, so you can stack the deck in your favor. So your hips can naturally be higher than your knees, and your low back can really lift and lengthen. But as you arrive in your seat, let your eyes close or soften, and begin to listen for your own breath. When we close our eyes, it gives us a moment to see ourselves more clearly than before. There's the version of you that you were before you walked in, the version of you that you are here in this seat. The version of you are continuing to make space to become into. They all exist in this form. So with your eyes soft and that attention turned inward, you listen for the sound of your breath. Each breath gently moves from your nose down into your belly and up into your heart. And as you exhale, offer the breath up and out through the very crown of your head, creating more space for more breath. Take a few more of those just on your own, letting each breath move in, down, and wide. And every exhale pours itself up, out, and through you. This practice, regardless of how and where the body is moving, it's first and foremost an offering to that breath. So as we start our time and our practice here with each other, with 3 more rounds of that breath, take a moment to gather your hands to center anywhere that feels for you, somewhere on your body, or perhaps in front of your heart, in that moment of self-reverence. If your hands are in Anjali Mudra, you might gently pull your thumbs back to touch your heart as you lift your heart up into your thumbs to meet yourself where you are. Wait for your inhale as it fills you up. And exhale to offer all of that breath out. 2 more times on your own. At the bottom of your breath, pause for a moment. Take notice of any difference that comes when you listen for and really remember your breath. Now, keeping that attention as best as you can, gently release your hands, blink your eyes open, and let's meet today in tabletop to start linking breath and movement together. You might have your blocks framing out the front of your mat. Perhaps you start to use them as we start to move around. You want to bring her some props too? Yeah? But as you find your way to all 4s, let your hands come as wide as your mat and an inch forward of your shoulders. So take up a drop more space than you normally would and just see what it feels like. With your toes tucked under back behind you, start to round and arch your spine, moving with your breath. Let's go for 5 or 6 rounds of breath, just moving at your pace, linking breath and movement here together. Unclear. I know some of us are on it, some of us aren't on it, but I know that, I'll check it out, yeah. Some of us are on it, some of us aren't on it, and who knows if it's still going to be here, but TikTok is a thing that's happening, which I'm aggressively on, and if anyone is on the threads that I am, after the LA wildfires, is anyone listening and seeing the Spencer and Heidi? Okay, I was like, come on, I can't be the only one living under this hole. But if I'm taking it and stretching it out, I'm like, the way that Spencer and Heidi are getting their life back together is a true act of the Hanuman in all of us. Like, we are all able to create beauty and order in this sheer face of chaos. So even if we don't think it exists, it very much exists. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, thank you, because you're not living under the rock that I am. So really be of this world. So after a few breaths, come back to table, find your neutral spine. Watch for your props and friends behind you as we find that calf stretch. Reach the right leg back, tuck the right toes under, and reach back through the right heel to just see what you're working with in the back of the right leg. Some like to stay still. You might gently rock the heel forward and back, but as the heel reaches towards the back of your mat, can you slide your heart forward to grow longer in every direction? After a few breaths on this first side, switch. Bend your right knee, stretch back through the left. Stay still or gently move the heel forward and back. And just notice what you feel in the back of that left calf. Can you listen for your breath? A deeper breath in and a longer breath out through every fiber of your being. Now make your way back to table. Come to your neutral spine. Walk your hands a handprint or 2 forward of your shoulders. Bring your knees back behind your hips. And with those toes tucked under, we'll meet in downward facing dog. Take all the time you need as many breaths as you'd like to find your way there. As you let yourself arrive in this first down dog of class, notice what it is that you feel. Bodies feel different in the cold, in the evening, all throughout the day. So can you notice what you see, how it feels, and where in your body and being you continue to feel it? Take a longer breath in and a steadier breath out through every direction of you. At the bottom of your next breath, lift your heels high, soften your knees, look forward, and 1 foot at a time, walk your feet up towards your hands to walk it into your first forward fold of class. I like to bring blocks underneath my hands so the floor comes to meet me where I am. You might widen your feet a couple of inches or even soften your knees so your belly can rest on your thighs, your low back can find some more space, and your hips can lengthen. As your head gets heavy to the earth, maybe even gently nod your head yes, or slowly nod your head no as you bow in towards yourself. Now a few breaths here. Climb your hands up to your hips, stand through your legs, and a big inhale to come all the way to rise as you release your hands by your sides. With your feet right underneath your hips, wait for your inhale to reach the arms forward and up, and exhale to soften your knees as you fold over your legs. Inhale to come up halfway to lengthen, grow longer through your spine. And on your exhale, step it back to plank pose. Find the top of your push-up. Your knees might be up, they might be against the earth, but as you feel your legs back in space, without moving them, energetically hug your legs towards each other as if they could become one pillar. Now hug your palms towards each other. Feel the forearms and biceps engage. Can you slide your heart forward as you take a big breath in? And on your exhale, bend your elbows to lower all the way down to your belly. Inhale to rise for baby cobra or cobra. And let your exhale bring you back to down dog, tabletop, or puppy pose for 3 slow and steady breaths. This first song, I was saying this in yesterday's class, some of the Sanskrit songs on Spotify feel like nails on a chalkboard to me, but this one, it's the Hanuman Chailasa, the ode to Hanuman. There's people in India who simply worship him and himself, and this is to call upon him to invoke blessings, to clear the path, and to help us see what cannot necessarily be seen. So as you listen for your breath, take a longer breath in and a steady, clear breath out through every fiber of you. When you find your next exhale, lift your heels high, soften your knees, look forward, and come forward to the top of your mat, to your standing forward fold. Inhale brings you halfway up to lengthen, and exhale to fold, bowing in towards yourself. Take a big breath in to rise, stand through your legs, reach up, touch the sky, and exhale to let your hands come down by your sides. Let's do it one more time. Follow your breath more than my voice. Inhale to reach up, Urdhva Hastasana. Let your whole exhale allow for you to fold. Inhale to come up halfway. Let the balls of your feet be heavy. And exhale to step it back to plank, the top of your push-up. A full breath here. Hug the thighs together, hug the arms together, reach the heart forward, and exhale to bend your elbows to lower, Chaturanga Dandasana. Wait for the breath in to rise, Bhujangasana. And on your exhale, down dog, table, or puppy. 3 more breaths. Hanuman, the one who can do full splits from one place to the other. His dad was the king of the wind. Each one of the elements in the yogic tradition has a different god or goddess. The god of fire, the god of rain, the god of the sun, and the god of wind. And Vayu, Hanuman's dad, gave him the gift of being able to fly on the currents of the wind itself. And oftentimes we think these mythological stories are so separate from our daily lives, living in the city in the 21st century. But every aspect of these characters is a version of ourselves. So as you feel your breath here, can you ride the currents of your own breath, taking a deeper breath in? And at the bottom of your exhale, lift your heels, soften your knees, and come forward to the top of your mat. Inhale to come up halfway, grow longer through your heart. And on your exhale, fold, bowing in towards yourself. Bring your feet 1 or 2 fist width distances apart. And with your toes pointing ahead, bend your knees, climb your palms up onto your thighs to sit into chair pose. Think tush to the back of your mat. Push your palms into your legs to lift your heart up. Your hands can stay here. If you want to add some heat, they can reach up to the sky. But listen for your breath. Take a long breath in, down, and wide. With every exhale, let your hips get heavier as you lift the bottom of your heart to the sky. Take one more breath in. Let it fill you up. Stay for the exhale. Can you look away from the ground and see where you're going? Big breath in to rise. Stand through your legs. Get taller. And exhale to fold, bowing in. Keep your right foot forward. Step your left foot all the way back to catch your lunge. I like to be high up on blocks, or you might be on fingertips on either side of that right foot. But with your right knee and toes pointing ahead, press your fingertips into the blocks. As you inhale, lift up through the heart. And exhale to fold and slowly straighten that right leg. Let's go through that twice more. On your inhale, bend your right knee, lift your heart up. And wait for the exhale as you fold and straighten that right leg. One more time, take the whole breath in to lunge, reach the heart forward. And exhale to fold and let that right leg straighten. Pause here in pyramid. Can you lift your back heel higher away from the ground? Push through your back foot to wrap your left hip forward and tack the outer right hip back. Notice where the sensation travels to in the back of your right leg. Take a big breath in. Stay for your exhale. You might soften your elbows as you bow in towards that right thigh. Now on your next inhale, back it up. Bend your right knee. We step it forward. All the hops you need for the left foot to meet the right. Inhale to come up halfway, grow longer. And big exhale to fold, bowing in. Use your own fists to measure, 1 or 2 fists width between your feet. And as you bend your knees, sit your hips back. Hands to hips, hands to thighs, or arms up overhead. But listen for the breath. Feel each inhale move in, down, and wide. With every exhale, think hips heavier to the earth as you lift your heart up to the ceiling. Now can you slide those bottom ribs back so you broaden in the middle of your back. Slide the ears back to lift your chin. And then if your arms are overhead, bring your arms back in line with your ears as you sit 1 inch lower to the ground. Big inhale to stand tall, reach up. And exhale to fold, bowing in. Other side, left foot forward, step your right foot back to catch your lunge. With those hands high up on fingertips or blocks, wiggle your right toes back another inch or 2 so you get longer. Now bend your left knee, take a breath in, reach your chest forward, and exhale to fold as you straighten the left leg. Twice more, following your breath more than my voice. Inhale through to lunge. Big exhale to fold and straighten that left leg. Once more, take the whole inhale to bend the knee, lift your heart up. And exhale to fold and let that front leg straighten. Pause here. The higher you lift that back heel up off the earth, the more you can push through the right foot to slowly wrap your right hip forward and tack your outer left hip crease back. Now notice if your left big toe flutters up off the earth. Can you press the inner edge of your left foot down as you take a big breath in? Stay for the exhale. And then on your inhale, back it up. Bend your left knee, plant your palms on the ground, and we meet in downward facing dog as you step back through the left foot. Pedal your heels and take a breath to notice what you see and feel. Follow your inhale to come forward to plank pose. Wait for the exhale to lower, Chaturanga Dandasana. On an inhale, rise, Bhujangasana, Cobra. And let your exhale bring you back to downward facing dog. Take a full, steady breath in. Let it fill you up in every direction. And on your exhale, offer all of that breath out through every fiber of your being. From your down dog, on your next inhale, lift the right leg up and back. Step it through or around to catch your lunge. Spin your back heel to the floor. And on your inhale, rise for warrior 2, facing the long edge of your mat. Check to see that the right toes are pointing ahead, the right knee is in line with your toes. And now walk your left foot back just an inch or 2 so you get a drop longer in your stance. Look away from the ground, reach out through the fingertips as you bend into that front thigh. Take a full breath in, down, and wide. And as you exhale, grow taller through the crown of your head as that right thigh gets heavier to the earth. On your next inhale, reach just the arms up to the ceiling. Bend your right elbow, pat yourself on the back, and let the left fingertips grab onto the elbow. Can you get taller? Elbow to the ceiling. Gently press your head back to lift your chin, but slide those ribs back to breathe in the middle of your back. Take a full breath in. Stay for the exhale, bend into the right thigh, guide the knee open as you lift the right elbow to the ceiling. And now inhale to release those arms to a T. Push the right leg straight, take a breath in. And on your exhale, triangle pose, right hand to your block or to the floor on the inside or outside of that front leg. Once your right hand taps something solid, feel both feet on the ground and gently hug them in towards each other like you have 5 blocks between your legs. You're trying to give them a squeeze. Now as you pull the right foot back and the left foot forward, push down into your right hand and reach the left fingertips 1 more inch as if you could hold the rafters above you. Take a big breath in, stay for the exhale, and lean back against the steadiness you've created. On your next inhale, look down, unwind, bring your hands to the floor, and step it back to downward facing dog. Pedal the heels one at a time. Check out what you feel from side to side. A couple more times together. Inhale through to plank pose. Exhale to lower, Chaturanga Dandasana. Wait for your breath in to rise, Bhujangasana. And on your exhale, take it back to downward facing dog. From your down dog, float the left leg to the sky. Step it through or around to catch your lunge. Pivot your back heel to the earth. And on your inhale, rise, Virabhadrasana 2. Bless you. Walk the right foot back a drop or 2 so you get longer. And now as you let the left knee and toes point straight ahead, see if you can look away from the ground, maybe straight ahead or through your left fingertips. But listen for the breath. Take a big breath in and down. Fill your belly and heart. Stay for the exhale. Let the left thigh get heavier as you grow taller through the top of your head. Now just reach the arms up. Keep that left knee bent. As your left elbow bends, give yourself a pat on the back. Right fingertips hold on to the elbow as you lift the elbow to the sky. And now notice if your chin is tucked towards your chest. Can you press your head back and slide the ribs back? As the ribs go back, gently press your head back. Take a big breath in. Stay for the exhale. Bend into the left thigh. Guide the left knee open as you lift the left elbow to the ceiling. And now inhale to release those arms to a T. Push through the left foot to straighten your left leg. And triangle pose, Trikonasana, left hand to your block or to the floor on the inside or outside of that front foot. Listen for the sound of your breath. With every breath in, hug the legs towards each other. As you pull the feet together, press down into that left hand and reach up through the right fingertips as you lean back against yourself. A bigger breath in and a longer breath out. And on your next inhale, unwind, lower the hands, bend the left knee, and step it all the way back to downward facing dog. Follow your inhale to come forward to plank pose. And as you exhale, lower all the way down to your belly. Once you're on the ground, reach your arms alongside of you. Flip your palms down to face the floor. We'll lift up for a moment in locust pose. But before we lift up, feel your legs back in space. And they don't have to touch, but energetically hug your thighs towards each other. Now shrug your shoulders to the ears. Hug the shoulder blades together. As you inhale, lift your head, lift your chest, float your arms up off the floor, and exhale to let the legs lift up and away from the ground. As you lift, let your eyes close or soften so you can really listen for your breath. With every inhale, can you hug those inner thighs together? Think inseams of your pants towards the ceiling, like your pinky toes could face the floor. Now hug the shoulder blades together. Lift your palms 1 more inch as you take flight. A big breath in. And on your exhale, release. Lower all the way down. Rest on your palms, rest on your cheek. Close your eyes for a moment and feel for the sound of your breath. A deeper breath in and a longer breath out. If you're on a palm or on one of your cheeks, turn to the other side and feel and listen for the broadness of your breath. The more you breathe into your belly, feel how your low back widens, touching the air above you. The more you breathe into your belly and up into your chest, can the whole back of your body broaden and widen. Now after a few breaths here, we're going to stay on the ground for the first of our thigh stretches. So make a pillow with your hands, rest on one of your cheeks or on one of your palms. And now bend your right knee as your right hand reaches around for your right foot. For half frog, Ardha Bekasana. That's it. As you draw the heel towards your tush, feel your thighs back in space. Hug your right thigh towards your left thigh. Shrug your right shoulder up and back. And as you push your right thigh down into the ground, take a big breath in. Stay for the exhale as you offer all of that breath out. On your next inhale, release the hold of your leg. Take a moment to switch sides. Pillow with your right hand. Let your forehead rest on your right palm. And now bend your left knee and reach your left hand around for the left foot. It's less about how close the heel and butt can come together, but more, can you press your left thigh down into the mat, hug your thighs towards one another, and shrug that left shoulder up and back. Take a deeper breath in and a longer breath out. And now on your next inhale, release the hold of your leg. Hands come to either side of your chest. Tuck your toes. Push the floor away from you, table or plank pose. And on your exhale, we meet in downward facing dog, hips to the sky. From your down dog, float the right leg up and back. Step it through or around to catch your lunge. And on your next inhale, we meet in high lunge. Reach the arms, the chest, and the torso to the sky. Good. Walk your right foot an inch or two over to the right so you're less on a balance beam. And now feel that back leg in space behind you. Lift your back heel higher. Lift the back thigh higher. And can you wrap your left hip forward and tack your outer right hip back? Reach the arms up, look away from the ground as you take a big breath in. Stay for the exhale, bend into that front thigh while the left thigh stays lifting to the sky. Now hands come to your hips, tiny bend in the back knee. All the hops you need to spring off your left foot. Grow 1 inch taller through the crown of your head. And now lower the left foot down as you bend your knees, sit your hips back. Lean into your left foot, lift your right heel, and cross your right ankle over your left thigh for standing figure 4, a hip opener. You can keep your hands on your hips, they can come to your heart, they can reach up overhead. But as you flex that right foot like it's standing on solid ground, take a full breath in, down, and wide. Stay for the exhale, think butt to the back of your mat as you lift your heart up to the sky. And now inhale to come all the way up to rise. Lower the right foot down. Feel gravity beneath you as you reach your arms up. Grab your right wrist with your left hand. Grow 1 inch taller, and for a side stretch, tip up and over to the left. Take a breath here into the right side of your waist. And as you tip to the left, slide the ribs back, the ears back to lift your chin, and then maybe bring those arms back in line with your ears. Big breath in to come all the way back up. Touch the sky, get a drop taller, and exhale to fold, bowing in. Plant your palms to the top of your mat. Walk those feet all the way back to bring it to down dog. Stay right here and breathe. Your breath, you might lower your knees to the ground to take a few breaths close to gravity. Or your breath might take you through one of those linking vinyasas we've done together already. But anywhere you go, staying still or moving, there's no wrong answer. Can it be an offering to your breath? A deeper breath in and a longer breath out. When you find your next breath, make your way back to down dog. There's no rush. We'll do the other side. Lift the left leg to the sky. Step it through or around to catch your lunge. And on your inhale, come on up to rise for high lunge on the second side. Again, walk the left foot as much as you need to the left. Think less tightrope, less balance beam. But that back leg is where you'll find the steadiness. Lift your back heel higher. Wrap your right hip forward and tack your outer left hip back. Now arms grow taller. Look away from the ground as if you're about to take a leap. Take a big breath in. Stay for the exhale and bend 1 more inch into that front thigh. And now hands can stay anywhere it helps your balance, but get springy. Tiny bend in the back knee. All the hops you need to leap off the foot. Grow 3 inches taller. Look away from the ground. And now lower the right foot down. Bend your knees. Sit your hips back. Lean into the right foot. Lift your left heel. And for standing figure 4, cross your left ankle over your right thigh. Think hinging from your hips, so think tush to the back of your mat as you lift your heart up to the sky. And now a full breath in. Stay for the exhale as you offer all of that breath out. On an inhale, come all the way back up to rise. Lower the left foot down, feel gravity beneath. Grab your left wrist, 2 inches taller, and tip up and over to the right for standing crescent on the other side. The sides are different, waists, shoulders feel different, but as your hips go to the left and you lean to the right, the ears go back. Maybe the arms come back in line with your ears. Inhale to come all the way back up, touch the sky, and exhale to fold, bowing in. Plant your palms to the top of your mat, walk those feet all the way back to bring it back to down dog. Take notice of what you see and feel, and from your down dog, lower the knees to the ground. You can sit back onto your heels, sip some water, and shake it out. I see layers slowly coming off in a comfortable way. Meaning it's not like I'm dripping in sweat. They're slowly peeling off because I know there's a lot. But if you need the fans, let me know. Yes, we can get the fans. Marcy, can you turn them up just halfway? So not full helicopter. The fans go from like one swirl every 5 minutes to vortex you into outer space very quickly, but we'll get some air moving. Does everyone have a strap you can use? You can unravel it like a big jump rope. And we'll use it for a moment to get a little more into the shoulders. So from tabletop, come onto all fours, and now walk your legs to come as close as they can come together. Thighs, knees, feet to touch as you tuck those toes under. With all 10 toes tucked, sit your hips back onto your heels, grab your strap in your right hand, and reach your right arm up to the sky. Now remember, there's a lot in the arches of the feet. Did I say right hand or left hand? Okay, great. I'll do the opposite. With the strap in your right hand, bend your right elbow, give yourself a pat on the back. Reach your left arm to the side, turn your left thumb down, and now bend your left elbow to grab the dangly edge of the strap behind you. Your fingers touch, great. Mine, one hand is close to the top of my butt, the other hand is at the back of my head. Never in this lifetime will my hands touch, but the idea is we're trying to get the actions in this form. You want to think right elbow towards your right ear, left elbow more to the middle of your spine. And now with some resistance, try to gently tug your strap or fingers apart as you press your head back and slide the ribs back. Take a big breath in. Stay for your exhale. Try to soften the grip of your fingers around the strap without letting it go as you press back through your head. And now inhale to unwind, unravel the arms, come on back to tabletop, shake out your feet, roll out your ankles, give yourself a second to reset. And now let's try the other side. So this time with your toes pointed, squeeze your inner heels towards each other. It's like this version of hero's pose. Begin to sit your butt back onto your heels. You might feel this more in your ankles and fronts of the shins. Strap in your left hand, reach the left arm all the way up. Bend your left elbow and give yourself a pat on the back. I like to reach the right arm to the side, bend the elbow, and grab the dangly edge of that strap. Depending on if you have one hand that's more dominant, sides might feel very different. I think I made this joke a few weeks ago, but I practice this pose. It's my lotioning of the back pose, where I can only do it on one side but not the other. So there's always a band that's missed, but there's practical uses. So start left elbow towards your ear, right elbow to the middle of your spine, and then some resistance. Gently tug your strap apart as you press your head back to lift your chin. Take a big breath in. Stay for the exhale. Try to release the gripping of your fingers around the strap as you press back through the head. Now inhale to release those hands. Come on back through to tabletop. Ditch the strap. Shake out your feet again. Roll those ankles out. And we meet in downward facing dog. Take all the time and as many breaths as you need to find your way there. Okay, one more thing to do before we come to the wall. So on your next inhale, float the right leg up and back. Step it through or around to catch your lunge. And now pivot your hands and feet over to the left to come into your wide-legged forward fold facing the long edge of your mat. There's plenty of room, but if you feel like if you're going to come up halfway, there's going to be a butt right in your head. Some of you might heel toe forward, some of you might heel toe back to the middle or back of your mat. But once you find yourself, surprise, inhale, come up halfway to lengthen. And now keep your fingertips on the floor way far forward in front of you as you turn your left knee and toes to face the back left corner of your mat. Bend your left knee, start to reach your hips towards your heel for Skandasana, this inner thigh opener. Push down into the fingertips to lift your heart up. You can stay here. Some folks like to keep that right foot on the ground. Some like to turn the right knee and toes up to the ceiling. But as you keep that left heel heavy, maybe the hips get heavier and the hands get lighter. But anywhere you are, take a full breath in, lift up through the heart. Stay for the exhale as you offer all of that breath out. Okay, now push through the left foot, straighten the left leg, turn the right knee and toes to catch your lunge. And on your inhale, we meet in high lunge. One more time. Reach up, touch the sky. Lift that back heel high, grow tall through the fingertips, bend into the front leg. Now hands come to your hips, tiny bend in the back knee, spring off your left foot, grow 2 inches taller through the top of your head. And now lower the left foot down to the ground. If you don't have your blocks out in front of you, find your blocks out in front. And now once you find them, bend your knees, lean all of your weight into your left foot, and lift your right heel up off the earth. Draw the right knee in towards your chest. We're going to make our way to supported warrior 3. Soften that left standing knee, look away from the ground. And now hinge from your hips, start to reach your chest forward as you extend back through the right leg. It's less about how high the right leg can be, but can you wrap your right hip to face the floor, turn your right toes to face the ground. And now once you're steady, bring your fingertips to the blocks way far forward of that left foot. Hug your right thigh an inch to the left. Reach back through the right heel, and now think chest forward to grow longer in every direction. Take a big breath in. Stay for your exhale. And now staying here for standing split, you might lower your blocks a digit or 2 or bring your hands to the floor, but begin to bow in. Notice if that right hip wants to open up to the right. Can you turn your right hip and toes to face the ground? And now as you push down and forward through your palms, lift your right leg 1 more inch. Stay here breathing. Or if you want to add a little more spice, you might come up onto your left tippiest of tippy toes, lifting your left heel up off the earth. Lift your right inner thigh 1 more inch. And now as you push your palms down and forward, lower the left heel to the ground, bow in and lift your right leg 1 more centimeter to the sky. Good. Soften your left knee. Step back through the right foot to catch your lunge. Plant your palms and take it back to downward facing dog. Any questions? Sprung it on you. I heard you breathing, so that was the most important part. In the standing foot, you can lower your knees for a second or stay, anything you like. The bottom leg, it is even. So it is even. The idea is lifting the bottom heel, which I suggested. The weight will obviously have to be more in the ball of the foot. But even in standing split, I'm trying to lift and spread those bottom toes. So all 4 corners of the feet are really anchored onto the earth. So when I get there, my hands, you'll notice they're way far forward of the shoulders. When I get there, it lets me lift this bottom heel up off the earth while I can lower it down. There was a time when Barbie first came out, I got fixated on doing Barbie foot in class. I'm so happy that phase has passed, but thank you for those that stuck around with it. Let's do the other side. Good question. Down dog. Take it back. Take a breath or 2 once you arrive. So I'll talk you through. There's no rush. From your down dog, float the left leg up and back. Step it through or around to catch your lunge. And now pivot your hands and feet to the right to come into that wide-legged forward fold on the other side. Remember, stagger with your friends as needed. But with your toes pointing to the long edge of your mat, inhale to come up halfway to lengthen. Turn your back foot, your right knee and toes to face the back corner of your mat. And as you keep your right heel on the ground, bend your right knee. Think hips towards that right heel. Think pubic bone back, meaning stick your tush out and lift your chest up to the sky. There's so much to be done here. You might keep your fingertips on the ground as your hips get heavier, but can you guide your right knee open towards your right pinky toes? Take a big breath in. Stay for the exhale, look away from the floor. And now push through the right leg to straighten your right knee. Turn your left knee and toes to catch your lunge. And a slow, steady breath in brings you up to rise for high lunge. The arms reach up. Walk the left foot as much as you need to the left. But remember the back leg lifted higher. Reach up through the arms and bend into the front thigh. Tiny bend in the back knee. Ready to leap. Spring off the right foot. Scoop your right thigh to your chest. Grow 1 inch taller up. And now lower the right foot down. Feel both feet on the ground. Your hands can come to your hips. Soften your knees. Lean into your right foot. Lift your left heel and draw the left knee in towards your chest. This feels like the other side, right? Sure. Okay, I got some questionable yeses. We're going to go with it. So soften that right standing knee. Lift your heart up. And for supported warrior 3, from the hips you hinge. Start to reach your chest forward as you extend back through the left leg. Your hands can stay on your hips, they can come to your heart, but can you wrap your left toes and your left hip to face the ground? And now hug the left leg an inch to the middle of your mat, reach back through the left heel and think heart forward. And now when the ground feels ready, fingertips to blocks way far forward of the left toes, right toes. Hug the left thigh to the right. Reach back through the left heel and think heart forward to grow longer. For standing split, lower the blocks a digit or 2. Bow in towards that standing right leg. And now remember, less about how high the left leg can be, but can it engage? Wrap your left hip down, lift your left inner thigh to the sky, and now push down and forward through your palms to maybe come up onto your right tippiest of tippy toes. Lift your left inner thigh 1 more inch. And now as you push through your palms, ground your right heel back to the floor and lift your left leg up to the sky. Tiny bend in the left knee and the right knee. Step back through the left foot. Step back through the right foot and take it back to your downward facing dog. Pedal the heels. Take notice of what you feel and see. And now when you're ready, lift your heels high. Soften your knees. Walk your feet to the middle of your mat. Walk your hands to the middle of your mat to meet yourself somewhere in the middle. Take a full breath in to come up halfway. And on your exhale, fold, bowing in towards yourself. Take a long inhale in to rise. Stand through your legs, reach up, touch the sky. And on your exhale, let your hands come down by your sides. We made it. Let's go to the wall. There's plenty of space for all of us to fit. You don't need any of your props with you, but if you want to bring them, you can. But bring the short edges of your mat to the wall. This wall's free game. I can move these blankets too. Y'all can squeeze in here. But give yourself a few moments to find some wall space. Oh, why are these always so much heavier than I anticipate? Yeah, you guys are good there. Yeah. You're good under the sconces. Just know that the sconces exist. There's lots of room on the brick wall that y'all can fit into. I promise you there's room. You might move just a drop closer. And we're not doing anything off of our mat, so you're not going to flail. You guys we can squeeze you in here in the middle. And if you guys wouldn't mind coming just an inch or 2 closer, a mat can come in here. And what's happening with that wall? You can go on these slivers. Yeah. Just be mindful of the sconce. Yeah, you'll be able to work around it. It's been a while since wall time, but we're going to try it today. Okay, so like I mentioned, last week if we were together, we did splits on the floor. And what you might have noticed, or what you might know just through your own splits curiosity, is once your feet are on the ground, it gets a little harder for your hips to move around in space. So I know for me, when my legs are on the floor, my hips naturally want to open up towards this direction, and, eventually the collapse becomes imminent, which if this is what your version of splits looks like, we love to see it. But this version that I'm going to show you at the wall gives you a little bit more leverage to be able to move your hips around in space. Because the idea is, some folks, I know for a long time, I was like, I feel something here, and I feel something in the back of my knees. I must be finding a stretch. But that's not necessarily the place we're looking for it in the attachments. You're looking for it really in the belly of your hamstring muscles. So what this one looks like, and you'll do it in a second, is you come to your down dog at the wall, take a few breaths here, and then one leg lifts as high up the wall as it can go. So we did this a version of this in standing split. Now remember, the nature of your legs, because your body is connected to itself, is your hips will want to open up to the left. But what we're trying to do is wrap this top hip, the left hip, down, so this right hip can lift up to the sky. And immediately, I feel it in the back of my right thigh. I invite you to stay here and breathe. You're going to get a lot. Or if you're like, okay, there's a drop more room, you might walk your hands back a centimeter, squeegee that back foot up the wall. And now this action comes not from me muscling my way into the ground, but me corkscrewing or rotating the hips. As I wrap this hip down and lift this hip up, this foot gets lighter up off the floor. And now I push the ground away from me, ground this heel back to the earth, and send my pubic bone, my hips to the wall without letting this happen, or as much as you can. And then when you don't want to do it anymore, there's no real graceful way of coming out, but the hands come out, and then you rest for a second or two in child's pose. Hanumanasana, so much more than full splits. It's an entire body experience, but the idea is, oh no, he laid down. We're not there yet. The idea is he leapt from one universe and one continent to the other, never knowing where his final destination was going to be. The story that I briefly told you today is that Ram's wife Sita gets kidnapped. No one knows where she is. No one knows how to save her. She's kidnapped by the 10-headed demon Ravana. And Hanuman, the great devotee, the one who flies on the currents of the wind, he says, I'll do it. I don't know where I'm going to go, but I'm going to do it. And he, in one full split, leaps from the forest that he's in into the kingdom of Lanka. He traverses the land in order to save her, and while he's saving her, the demons light his tail on fire, and he can't escape, so he's igniting all the forests around him before he gets back. And eventually he returns, holding her in a full split. This is my full split. But he's holding her in a full split and returns her back to safety. But you know, these stories, real, mythological, fairy tales, however you think of them, they teach us like morals of the human condition. The ability to, find your moral compass and to know what direction you want to move towards. It exists in every single one of us. And this pose, where you're literally going to be holding the weight of your entire body, the weight of the world beneath you, is a call to see what is it that draws you to yourself. How can you connect more to your breath when you are stretched in every single direction possible? That was me chit-chatting to avoid doing splits side one and side two, but we're going to try it out. So the idea, if you feel it in the butt, if you feel it in the back of the knee, I want you to back off, call one of us over, and then I'll talk you through all the progressions. So we'll see where it takes us, once on each side. Come to tabletop with your feet touching the wall, please, and take a couple of breaths there. We'll meet in downward facing dog with your feet touching the wall. Bring your hands as wide as your mat if they're not already. Spread your fingers and take a breath. And now after a few breaths in your down dog, lift your right leg as high up the wall as it can go. Curl the toes under, straighten the right knee, and feel the right foot on the ground. Now without moving your hands, listen for your breath. Keep that left foot on the floor. Now without moving your hands, can you wrap your right hip to face the ground, lift your outer left hip up, and notice where the sensation travels to in that bottom left leg. Stay here and breathe. Or you might walk your hands back an inch or two towards the wall. Squeegee the right toes higher up the wall. And remember, you're not muscling your way through it. You're wrapping the right hip down, lifting the left hip up, and maybe the left toes flutter up off of the floor. And now as you push down and forward through your hands, ground your left heel to your sticky mat to the floor and send your pubic bone to the wall. You breathing? See if you can breathe in there. And then when you do not want to do it anymore, walk your hands slowly forward, walk the right knee down, and take it back to tabletop or child's pose, or where you can breathe. Okay, that looked great. Questions? Not even one. Leaping monkeys through the air, tails on fire. No? You felt it? Did you felt it? Okay. Keisha made a great point yesterday in class, which was when my bottom foot floats up off the earth, like, yes, I'm feeling it here, but also, whoa, in that core, because you're holding the entire weight of your body and being on your own hands. So it's good. You feel sensation traveling places. Let's do the other side so that we don't feel too uneven for too long. But let's do the other one. So tabletop, hands as wide as your mat. Press your palms into the earth. Now make your way to your down dog with your heels or some part of your feet touching the wall. Take a breath here to arrive. You know where the destination starts from. You don't know where it ends, but can you feel the currents of your own breath? And now lift your left leg as high up the wall as it can go. Tuck the toes under and straighten the left knee with your right toes down. Without moving your hands anywhere, can you wrap your left hip to the earth? Lift your outer right hip up and push down into the earth. And now only if you want to, walk your hands back an inch or two to the wall. Squeegee your left toes higher up the wall. And now it's this action of moving the hips. You wrap your left hip down, lift your outer right hip up, and maybe it floats your right foot away from the ground. And as you push down and forward into your arms, ground your right heel to the floorboards. As you send your pubic bone, your hips to the wall, breathing. When you do not want to do it anymore, slowly walk the hands forward, lower the left foot down, tabletop, child's pose, just a place to be and rest for a moment. Wahoo! For those that knew we were doing full splits, thank you for coming back. For those that didn't know, all January, baby, we're working our way to it. But the whole metaphor for it too, I like to teach full splits in January because if you're picking up what I'm putting down, we know where our starting terrain is, but we have no idea what December is going to look like. And it doesn't prevent us from taking giant leaps, but we still got to try, so we'll see where we end up. Let's come back to the middle of the room. Find your spots. We're going to get some twists, some back bends, some therapy balls, and then lay down. Yes? Yes, yeah, you don't have to move your hands back at all. As long as you, getting those hands closer, the equivalent of it would be if you were in splits on the floor, which I'm not going to do. It's like you're folding forward and catching this leg. But here, it'll give you more room in the hips. So absolutely, yeah, yours is beautiful. Mm-hmm. All right, once you've taken and found your spots back, does everyone have therapy balls that you can work with? We'll use them in a moment. Just locate where they are emotionally and come to tabletop, please. Find your way to your hands and your knees. In your tabletop, let your hands come as wide as your mat and take a few rounds of breath through cat and cow. Link your breath and movement back together. Round and arch your spine. I can bring you some if you need some. Round and arch your spine, following your breath, and really linking breath and movement back together again. As you find your way back to all fours, come to your neutral spine. And now with your left hand wide, reach your right arm all the way up to the sky. We'll do a spinal twist. Reach the right arm to the ceiling. And then exhale to thread the needle. Bring your right hand behind your left. You might lower your right cheek to a block or to the floor as you turn your belly and chest open to the left. Good, take a breath. I like to have my left palm on the ground. You might tent up onto your left fingertips, but as you lean your butt more to the right, this way, turn your belly and chest to the left, this way, towards the and then offer it to your breath. On your next inhale, push down into your left palm to unwind, lower the right hand back to the floor, tabletop, and a breath or two to land. Now second side, lift your left arm up to the ceiling. Grow longer through the crown of your head. And exhale to thread the needle, left hand to the right. Your left shoulder might lower to the earth. Your left cheek might lower to a block or to the ground. But as you twist, occasionally the hips want to twist with you and swing with you to the right. Can you lean your butt more to the left, turn your belly and chest to the right, and then slide the ears back to listen for your breath. A deeper breath in and a longer breath out. Then lower the right palm, push into the right hand to come back through to tabletop, and flip over onto your back. So your head is up towards me, your feet are to the wall behind you. Have your therapy balls close by. Have one of your blocks close by as well. You might use those as we start to move about. But once you find your therapy balls, your block, let them slide off to the side. Bend your knees, bring both feet onto the ground. Let your hands rest on your body, on your belly, or on your chest as you take a big breath in. And on your exhale, drop both knees to the right hand side. Inhale to bring the knees back up through center. With your feet as wide as your mat, exhale to drop your knees over to the left. Do that one more time following your pace. Inhale to bring the knees up. Big exhale to drop the knees over. On your inhale, let the knees come up through center. And exhale to let the knees drop over to the left. Now the next time your knees drop over to come back through center. Find your block. And we'll come into a few rounds of breath in supported bridge. So with your feet on the ground, knees bent, shrug your shoulders to your ears and wiggle those shoulder blades together. Now push down through your feet to lift your hips up and slide a block to its lowest or second lowest height right underneath your tush. If you want to come up higher, I just like to stack the two blocks on top of each other. It feels more supportive. But once your hips land on the block, shrug your shoulders to your ears, wiggle the shoulder blades towards each other, and gently let the back of your head press into the ground to feel your throat open for more breath. Your hands can rest on your body. They might rest alongside of you. But as you call yourself back to your breath, take 3 full, steady breaths here. The leap completed. The universe has traveled. You take this time to call yourself back down to earth. Can you feel each inhale as it moves from the nose into your belly and up into your heart? And exhale to let every drop of that breath go. Now after a few breaths with your knees bent, feet on the ground, lift your hips up just enough to slide that block out from under your tush and lower your hips to the earth. Knock your knees into each other with your feet wide. Bring your hands to your belly or onto your chest and take a big breath into your palms. And exhale to let every ounce of that breath go. Locate your therapy balls. I'm going to talk you through some therapy ball work in the upper back. You're more than welcome to keep them in their tote or take them out. It's a personal preference. But once you find them, lift your head and shoulders up off the ground. And from your upper back, pop the therapy balls in between your shoulder blades to the top tips of your shoulder blades themselves. Once you find a place that you want to explore, that you're curious about, that feels even, you might bring your head down onto the floor. Or perhaps you bring your head up onto a block to alleviate some pressure. But as your arms fall anywhere they fall, take a longer breath in through the nose and a full, steady breath out in every direction of you. You might keep your arms heavy on your body or alongside of you. Or you might slowly reach your arms up to the ceiling with your palms and fingers soft. As the palms reach up to the sky, you might reach your fingertips 1 or 2 more inches as if you could touch the skylights above you. Feel the shoulder blades widen. And exhale to soften the shoulder blades towards each other to let your upper back settle to the earth. Take another breath in wherever you are, and a deeper breath out in every direction of your being. Now lower your arms down by your sides. With your feet on the ground, knees bent, push through your feet with just enough effort to roll your body towards your head, until you feel those therapy balls come down your back to the middle of your shoulder blades, just slightly lower than where they just were. Bring any props you need with you as you take a deeper breath in and a long, full, steady breath out. Again, perhaps you keep your arms here, Or you might reach your arms slowly up towards the ceiling and move them almost like seaweed in water from one side to the other. Maybe making gentle figure eights. But can you see if you can move 10% slower than you are already? With your head heavy, your jaw soft. Take a long breath in and a steadier breath out. Now slowly lower your arms if they're lifted. With your knees bent, feet on the ground, one more time, push with just enough effort through your feet to roll your body a few more inches towards the top of your mat until the therapy balls come down to the bottom tips of your shoulder blades. Take a full breath in and exhale out through parted lips to let all of that breath go. Perhaps your arms stay heavy. You might once again reach your arms up to the sky and give yourself a hug as if your hands are reaching for the therapy balls behind your back. And let the palms and the fingers be soft. Maybe you lean a little from side to side. If you are giving yourself that embrace, switch which elbow is on top just to see what a difference feels like. Taking a longer breath in and a deeper breath out. Now slowly begin to unwrap your arms if they're wrapped around you. Release any props from behind your head, and we'll all make that exit journey out. Begin to move your hips towards your heels and roll your body to the back of your mat so you feel the therapy balls come up your back. Eventually they'll pop out from the tops of your shoulders. You can also roll over to one side to clear them out of the way. However they exit, do let them fully come out as you drape your upper back without the therapy balls onto the earth. Can you take a breath into what you don't see with your eyes, but you can so clearly feel? And the next place we'll meet is we'll make our way towards rest. So give yourself a few moments to take anything that you need. You might add layers. Perhaps you use any props, a rolled up blanket underneath your knees so your low back can really settle to the earth. A blanket over your thighs or over your body for steadiness and warmth. You might let your hair down or let your glasses set safely off to the side. I'll talk you through a few rounds of pranayama, of some breath work to prepare the body for rest. You're more than welcome to simply listen. If you choose to, I invite you to follow along at your pace. But for this breath work, this interrupted or suspended breath, to help prepare the body for rest and to slow and steady ourselves down. On your next inhale, take a long breath in as it fills you up, and exhale to let all of that breath go. Take that one more time, a moment to reset, a slow, steady breath in, and a long, clear breath out. And now with your lips closed, picture your next inhale in 3 separate parts. First inhale, breathe just into your belly. Hold. Breathe into your lungs and chest. Hold. Breathe up into the top of your heart. Pause at the top. And exhale to let all of that breath go. Hold at the bottom of your breath. And begin again. Inhale to fill your belly. Retain. Fill your lungs. Hold. Fill your chest. Pause at the top. And exhale through your nose to softly let all of that breath go. Gently hold at the bottom as you begin again. Inhale to fill your belly, retain. Fill your lungs, hold. Fill the back and front of your heart, pause. And exhale through your nose to offer all of that breath out. 3 more times, following your pace. Inhale to fill your belly, retain. Fill your lungs, hold. Fill the back and front of your heart, pause. And exhale through the nose to offer that breath out. Inhale to fill your belly, retain. Fill your lungs, hold. Fill your heart, pause at the top. And exhale through the nose to offer that breath out. Last round. Inhale to fill your belly, hold. Fill your lungs, gently pause. Fill the back and front of your heart, hold. And exhale through your nose to offer that breath out. Without any holds or counts, take a breath to fill your belly, your chest, your throat, up into the crown of your head. And exhale to let every ounce of that breath go. You feel the slow, steady cadence of your breath. Each breath that you take dissolves the entire practice that was. Each breath lets you arrive to where you are now. And every breath that comes after makes space for what has yet to come. So as you let each round of your breath, let your physical body get heavier into the earth. The heavier your body becomes, the more spacious, the more expansive, and the lighter you may just start to feel. And a sweeter breath out. Take another breath in, down, and wide. And as you exhale, offer all of that breath out. Let your breath begin to slowly awaken the body that you're in and the very being that you are, with any gentle movements that feel sweet to you. You might roll your wrists or ankles in one or the other direction. Perhaps you tip your head from one Just watching for any neighbors or props around you. Perhaps you reach your arms away from your legs or draw your knees in towards your chest. When the time comes, we'll all meet with the knees bent, one or both arms overhead as you roll over to any side of your choosing. As you curl here into yourself, feel the ground beneath you. And as you push down into the floor, come up to rise to a tall seat, the very same way we began. With your eyes softly open or softly closed, can you once again listen for your breath? Let your next breath move in, down, and wide. And exhale pours itself up, out, and through you in every direction. Our time together will finish with one more of those breaths. You can place your hands to center anywhere that feels for you. As you take a deep breath in, to let it all go. You might bow your head towards your hands, or gently lift your hands towards your head. In such a sweet yet sincere gesture of self-reverence, bowing to yourself and to each other who practiced right alongside with you. And with all of our hearts, Marcy and I bow to each and every one of you all. Thank you so much for choosing to be here. Thank you. For those that willingly knew splits were coming, thank you for being here. For those that didn't know, thank you for coming. Drink water, stay warm, drink some more water, take good care of yourselves. If you have anything from the studio that you use, mats or props, there's wipes that are here that you can use. They get wiped afterwards, but never not enough wiping. And then announcements. Stacia's offering, February is going to come in the blink of an eye, and I did it last year, her Thai massage workshop. It was so nice. If you have time or availability, you can bring a friend, a beloved, a loved one. I don't know the dates, I don't know the time, I just know that it's happening at some point in time. And if you happen to miss that one, my friend Jean-Jacques in West Philly is doing one on Valentine's Day, and I got to be his demo last year for it, and let me tell you, when I had to call assistance to leave, I was like, someone needs to come pick me up because I don't know where I am or who I am. It's just so nice. All of the workshops are so sweet, so it's a great time to connect. Beloved Keyshawn is here, who owns More Vintage Archive on 4th Street. He's an angel. The store is exquisitely beautiful. Go peruse, check it out. I think that's it. What else do you guys have? Any things that you're seeing? Oh, I said this yesterday. There's so many resources that are being listed for the LA fires. I've been trying to share some. If you know of any that you want to bring into the room, please feel free to contribute. If you know anyone